Well, the chemicals, the oil, gasoline, all the stuff over the years of, having his hands in chemical-based, whatever it was, parts washer, parts solvent. I mean, all that chemicals in 30-some years of, working with that kind of stuff, it deteriorated his hands horrible. Yeah, it was unbelievable. That's why I wear these. My name's Terry Geisler.
My name's Josh.
My name's Ryan Wetzel.
My name's Tom Coon.
Robert Stokes, sheet metal worker.
Kenny Floyd.
Pipe fitter out of local 553.
Vicky Spinner, labor.
Pipe fitter, fourth generation. And my craft is pipe fitter, and I've been with GRP. I think it's getting pretty close to 8 years.
Hi, I'm Tom DeClue III, President of GRP Mechanical. Myself and many of the managers of GRP had the distinct privilege of working in the field as tradespeople. I worked as a pipe fitter welder for 12 years and then attended night school to receive my business degree in finance. I've seen construction companies from many different perspectives. If that perspective is grinding beads out on pipeline, in a cornfield in mid-July, or sitting in a back conference room putting strategy together to help GRP win a $20 million project, there is nothing more important to the managers, foremen, general foreman, and myself than to see you go home safe to your families. The safety, health, and well-being of all employees working for GRP Mechanical Company is our first and foremost concern. Each of us has the responsibility to make safety of our co-workers and ourselves our number one priority. This objective is fundamental to our well-being as well as the efficient operation of our business. With few expectations, every safety rule or practice has evolved from experience and knowledge gained over many years in how to prevent accidents and injuries. Every employee has the responsibility to prevent accidents and injuries by observing established working rules, by following these directions as supervisors, by practicing the safety rules of GRP, and by providing ideas on how the safety efforts might be further strengthened. GRP management recognizes its responsibility to provide safety working rules. GRP and its employees have the responsibility to comply with all federal, state, and local regulations related to safety and health programs. If you think something you're about to do is unsafe, don't do it. Stop the work and correct the situation. If you cannot correct the situation, ask your supervisor for assistance. This is important. It's your life that may be in danger. If you see someone about to commit an unsafe act, stop them. Discuss it with them. Help your coworker. Make your work environment safe for everyone. Employees working for GRP shall be required to comply with health and safety laws and regulations and adopt the safety practices of GRP. If you do not follow the safety rules, you'll be subject to disciplinary action up to and including discharge. Safety is our highest priority at GRP. We have many safety programs, but there are two keys to safety that every person needs to know. First of these is you have the time to work safely. Do not rush. Do not let anyone take that time from you or pressure you to take shortcuts. Secondly, everyone has the authority and the responsibility to stop work or shut down equipment due to safety concerns or unsafe conditions. Before starting any job, activity, or task, ask yourself these questions. Have I done this work before, and do I feel safe doing this work again? Am I committed to doing the job the right way with no shortcuts? Do I have the courage to stop my work that I think is proceeding unsafely? Many of you have heard of GRP or have worked for us in the past. We're striving for a safety culture that is so strong, it even changes how you interact with your family. A culture where your son wears the safety glasses when he mows the grass. A culture that changes how your wife and daughter recognize hazards in the household. A culture where your family's behavior is altered and improved based upon what you taught them about safety. We ask that you join our team, be a safety leader, and help us add to the great safety culture we have here at GRP Mechanical.
All accidents, injuries, and near misses, regardless of seriousness, must be reported immediately to your foreman or supervisor on the day they occur. No work should be performed without first assessing the potential safety hazards. We have several job safety analysis forms that have been customized to our many different job sites. The appropriate form should be completed before starting any job. All members of the crew must be involved in the job site assessment discussion, and every member of the crew must sign the JSA form.
The following list of PPE is only a minimum requirement. Additional PPE will be required based on task and/or job site location. First of these is clothing. A sleeve shirt with at least 4-inch sleeves and full-length trousers are required. Secondly, all workers, supervisors, and visitors shall wear approved, unaltered hard hats. Hard hats shall be worn with the bill or brim facing forward, with the exception of working in a finished building with an enclosed ceiling or while driving. ANSI Z87 approved safety glasses with side shields shall be worn at all times while on any job site. ANSI Z87 prescription safety glasses with clip-on or slip-on side shields will be permitted. Dark glasses will not be worn while inside a building or at night. Also, impact-resistant face shields shall be worn in addition to approved safety glasses with side shields when sledging, hammering, sawing, chipping, grinding, and pouring concrete. Approved hearing protection shall be used when the sound decibels are higher than 85. Hearing protection shall be worn in all areas designated as high noise areas or while performing high noise tasks such as jackhammering. A respirator shall be provided to each employee when such equipment is necessary to protect the health of the employee. Before use of a respirator, employee must be fit tested. For further reference, ask your supervisor or see GRP's respirator policy. Employees are required to wear ANSI shoes with hard toe. Gloves shall be worn for all work and on your person at all times. Hand protection should be selected relative to the hazard. And lastly, approved fall protection shall be used by employees when working on unguarded platforms 4 feet or more above a lower level. All fall protection must have an annual inspection and be properly color-coded.
You may access your medical records concerning your health status that was created or maintained by a physician, nurse, healthcare professional, or technician. When using barricade tape to protect a hazard, there are 3 different types of barricade tape to use. The first is red, which means danger, do not enter. You must have permission from the responsible person to cross the tape. Don't ask a random person for permission. The second is yellow, which means caution. You must identify the hazard before crossing the tape. Lastly, yellow and magenta means radiation. X-ray tape may never be crossed. X-ray personnel are the only craft approved to be inside the area taped off. If you hang the barricade tape, it must be tagged. All tags need to be at least 42 inches above the ground. Have the name of the company that put up the banner tape, contact information of the company, and the reason the barricade was placed. Once the tape has been put in place, it's necessary to perform periodic maintenance, especially after inclement weather. When your work is complete and the barricades are no longer needed, remove them and properly dispose or store them. Bloodborne pathogens or microorganisms such as bacteria and viruses which can cause disease. Some of the primary concerns in the workplace are hepatitis B, hepatitis C, or a human immune deficiency virus. Bloodborne pathogens are transmitted through contact with infective human blood and other bodily fluids. In an emergency situation involving blood or bodily fluids, call for professional medical help and notify your immediate supervisor. Only provide emergency treatment to the level of your training. Do this only after medics have been summoned and only after proper protective equipment is available. Remember to treat all injured victims using universal precautions. All body fluids are infectious. Allow medical staff to clean up and dispose of any contaminated waste.
The definition of a confined space is a space that has limited or restricted means for entry or exit and is not designed for continuous human occupancy. Anyone entering a confined space must be trained prior to entering the confined space. A confined space entry permit shall be requested, processed, issued, and posted prior to employee entry into confined space. Some locations and certain types of work activities may require additional permits for confined space entry. A 4-foot deep trench may be defined as a confined space. So if you don't know, ask.
Locate all electric gas, water, steam, sewer, and other service lines before starting demolition work. Protect these lines, relocate or disconnect them as necessary. Walls and floors of damaged buildings from fire, flood, or explosions should be braced or shored to prevent collapse. Use marking paint to identify what needs to be demolished. Holes in floors shall be barricaded. Wall openings shall be barricaded or guardrails installed. Barricade the area where materials or debris will be dropped from an upper floor. Use a chute if materials are to be dropped 20 feet or more. Have fire extinguishers or water hoses readily and available. Keep all access clear of debris at all time. And remember to always use PPE.
You must have a valid driver's license and approval from management to drive a GRP vehicle. The use of a handheld device or texting while driving is prohibited. Talking on the phone while driving is also prohibited, except when using an approved hands-free device in accordance with Illinois state law. It is strictly prohibited in a school or construction zone.
All extension cords should be of the 3-wire type. Never use a frayed, cracked, or deteriorated extension or equipment cords. If found immediately, remove from service. Do not try to repair or adjust any electrical equipment unless it is part of irregular work duties and you are fully trained. Electrical extension cords should not be fastened or hung from non-insulated staples, nails, or suspended by wire. Remove plugs from outlets by pulling on the plug itself, not by pulling the wire. Ground fault circuit interrupters or GFCIs shall be in place and functional at all time. GFCIs need to be placed at the source. Any electrical distribution equipment that needs to be accessed must be done by trained personnel only.
All employees on site shall become familiar and comply with the project-specific methods for controlling environmental issues. These procedures can be obtained from your supervisor. Prior to beginning any excavation, digging, trenching, or drilling operation, ensure that all underground utilities have been located and verified by the responsible parties. All excavations shall be classified by OSHA standards. The support system and excavation must be inspected daily by a competent person and after rain. No one is allowed to enter an excavation until the competent person has inspected it. Don't risk entering into an excavation. The walls can collapse in seconds, leaving you trapped.
On any enclosed structure, try to establish 2 separate exit ways. Be sure to keep these exits marked clean, free of scrap debris, material, and tools. Know the location of fire extinguishers and learn how to use them properly. Know what type of extinguisher is required for the particular fire you anticipate, such as wood, grease, or electrical fires. Report defective firefighting equipment to your supervisor immediately. If you use a fire extinguisher, take it out of service and make it known that a replacement is needed immediately. Keep work areas free of trash and scrap to help prevent small fires from becoming large disasters. Equipment must not be refueled while running or when hot. Attach ground wire before starting to refuel. Smoke in approved smoking areas only. Use only approved safety containers for storing flammable liquids. If a flammable liquid is spilled, it must be cleaned up right away. Combustible waste materials, such as oil, oily rags, or paint rags, must be stored in covered metal containers and disposed of properly. Monitor areas adjacent to burning and cutting. Have an extinguisher available, cover equipment, and remove combustibles within a 35-foot radius if possible.
Each job site will maintain a first aid kit on site or have an on-site approved medical facility. If injury requires further attention, please get treatment at the first aid treatment facility assigned to your location. Hand tools should be kept in good condition and used only for the job intended. Inspect all power and hand tools thoroughly before each use. Defective hand tools should be reported to your immediate supervisor. Be certain that all electrical power tools are grounded and or double insulated. Do not forget to inspect the cord. Recognize the tool's limitations. Don't force tools beyond what they are designed to do. Electrical power tools shall not be carried or handled by the power cord. Always use the correct tool for the job and never modify a tool or remove a protective device.
One of the rights as an employee of GRP is the right to know. As your employer, we are required by law to provide you with pertinent information regarding any chemical substance you may, will, or have been exposed to. Safety data sheets, or SDS, are sheets prepared by the manufacturers of different substances that exit at the workplace. If you are required to be or have been exposed to any substance, a copy of the SDS must be approved upon your request to inform you of the seriousness of the exposure. The safety department will assist you in reading and understanding the different sections of the sheet. SDS sheets are located in the safety office or can be obtained through any of the GRP's supervision. If you come into contact with or suspect that you have been in close proximity of asbestos, silica dust, lead, or radiation, notify your supervisor and ensure proper training and/or precautions have been made prior to continuing work. All personnel working on heavy mobile equipment must be properly trained. If you are not authorized to operate such equipment, stay off it.
It is every employee's responsibility to maintain good housekeeping at all times. Keep waste, debris, and rubbish cleaned up. Place lunch papers, cups, cans, and other litter and trash receptacles. Discard and/or store oily rags and similar combustible materials in metal containers provided for that purpose. All aisles, walkways, scaffolds, and work platforms shall be kept clear of hoses, cords, leads, debris, tools, and other tripping hazards. In case of emergency, it is recommended that employees have an ICE contact, spouse, mother, father, etc., and their cell phone to aid emergency responders in locating next of kin in case of an emergency.
All ladders shall be used in accordance with manufacturer's guidelines. Each employee shall know the weight capacity of the ladder to be used. The all extension and straight ladders shall be tied off or held by another employee and extended 36 inches above a landing or top rail to secure it from movement. Each ladder shall be equipped with no-slip safety feet. Sections of extension ladders shall not be separated and used as straight ladders. All step ladders shall only be used in an open position and not as a straight ladder. Step ladders shall be on a level surface with legs extended and locked in position. All ladders shall be supplied with non-slip rungs. Ladders with bent, broken, or cracked rungs or handrails shall be removed from service immediately. No employee shall work off of the top 2 rungs of a ladder at any time. Only one person should be on a ladder at a time. Keep both hands free to climb the ladder. Do not try to carry tools and material when climbing up or down a ladder. Use a tool pouch or a rope. Check to make sure all ladders have had their annual inspection, are properly color-coded. Do not talk on the phone, text, or email while working on a ladder.
Before any work is started on an energized system, that system must be locked out and tagged out to prevent the operation of that system. Tags and locks must be used when testing or working on any potentially energized system or when performing maintenance. Do not remove or ignore someone else's tag. Do not forget to remove your tag or lock when you have finished your work and the system is safe. Try to operate the system after you've locked the switch prior to working on that system to be sure it is locked out as you intended. Many sites have different lockout tagout procedures. Ensure you familiarize yourself with site procedures.
Be aware of the material you are about to handle. Is it liquid, solid, flammable, combustible, powder, heavy, light, etc.? Use proper lifting procedures. Back as straight as possible and knees bent. If any object or material is too heavy or awkward to handle, get help. Keep hands and fingers clear of your pinch points. When stacking material, be sure you stack, block, and interlock to ensure the material won't fall or roll. Inspect all rigging hooks, wire ropes, slings, chains, chain falls, and come-alongs prior to use. If rigging is defective, remove from service immediately and notify supervisor. Check to make sure all rigging has had its annual inspection and is properly color-coded. Remember, rigging device weight capacities decrease significantly as lifting angles increase. All parts of the rigging equipment, for example, slings, shackles, and spreader beams, must be able to handle the load that is intended to be lifted. No employee shall work on scaffolding that is not properly tagged. No red tag scaffolding will be accessed at any time, no exceptions. All scaffolding and work platforms will be inspected by a competent person prior to use.
Working under the influence of alcohol or any other chemical substance will result in disciplinary action. All employees may be subject to breath, blood, and/or urine analysis according to company and/or client policy. Any employee involved in an incident will be required to take drug and alcohol tests. See GRP Substance Abuse Prevention Policy for further information.
Inspect all leads, rounds, clamps, fittings, couplings, connections, hoses, gauges, cylinders, and welding machines each day before using. Be aware what you're welding or burning. Certain materials, paints, oils, and chemicals give off toxic fumes or may be flammable. You must have a charged working fire extinguisher or water hose for your working area. This extinguisher must be readily available for use. Maintain good housekeeping around your work area. Do not start welding or burning operations if there is evidence of spills, rag materials, or other flammable objects in or near your work area. Proper personal protective equipment must be worn during all burning and welding operations. Protective screens must be in place before welding and burning operations begin. These screens protect your fellow workers from being exposed to flash burns, sparks, or flying slag from your operation. Oxygen and acetylene or other fuel gas cylinders must be stored separate from each other by 20 feet or by 5-foot barrier, which has half-hour fire rating.
Not every job performed by GRP requires a work permit. If at any time a work permit is required by the company and/or client, no work shall begin without the permit. All permits issued will be complied with as written.
I would probably say big safety tip is watching out for one another, really. I mean, you know, one guy standing back watching when the other guy's concentrating on something, might not see, you know, what he's doing and this and that. He's concentrating on what he's doing instead of being, you know, as far as the safety part of it.
I like GRP. It's more of a family environment here, it seems like, and then it seems like work with a bunch of good guys around here. You always have a good time.
GRP is a great place to work. Here in the shop, I've been up here for 6 years, and I probably couldn't ask for much better conditions.
This is the best job I've ever had. GRP is a good company to work for. I've been working for them about 8 years. They've taken good care of me, and I've done my best to take care of them.